Alright, so we've talked about Godzilla vs. Kong in the non-spoiler review. Now here is the spoiler review for that movie, okay? So if you have not seen Godzilla vs. Kong yet, click off the video. Go check it out over on HBO Max or get a movie ticket, a ticket to the movie theater to go see it. If you don't want to be spoiled, last warning, okay? Spoiler talk. This is my real review for the movie because I can't really talk too much about it without going into spoilers. So things that I liked and I did not like. First of all, I really love the whole Hollow Earth idea. Well, first of all, the spoiler video I dropped on my channel was about 85-90% right? I got that. I'm not one of those guys that has a bunch of sources in Hollywood, but I got a couple friends out there, and once in a while I'll get stuff like this, and I did get this because this movie had actually been finished for a while. And the plot was pretty much on the nose, which was what I was told. The only thing that was a little different in the movie versus what I was told was that the whole axe, how important the axe was, Kong's axe. But, okay. So, I loved the visuals of how Hollow Earth looked and the whole Hollow Earth story. I loved the concept of Hollow Earth. I did a whole podcast once many years ago about the Hollow Earth theory, right? And I don't really believe in it, but it's still creepy. You know what I mean? To think that there's actually a land of the lost type of thing, like the Savage Land in the middle of the earth beneath us that's got weird gravity and whatnot. That's a cool idea, right? And Kong going down there and having that be his home and having that sort of be where the kaiju come from, that's kind of cool. I like that idea. Godzilla was kind of AWOL for most of this movie, yo. He had the one fight we got with King Kong, it wasn't really King Kong, it was just Kong. This is not the same as King Kong, but I guess it could be King Kong, whatever. And they had this fight, right, on the water, and that was okay. That was a decent fight. But it was just kind of an appetizer, for things to come. And then we don't really see Godzilla again for a while, for a long time. Honestly, I was a bit let down by the plot, even though I wasn't expecting much of a plot in the sense of, I really wanted them to do what they did in the Japanese movie, which is to have Godzilla sort of being angry and destroying things, but having it get revealed that it was mechagodzilla with a Godzilla skin on, like what they did in the original Japanese mechagodzilla movie. But they didn't do that. Instead, it was an evil corporation who wanted to make their own kaiju. Just really simple stuff. They took Ghidorah's brain from the last movie, tissue of his brain, and basically the brain took over the mechagodzilla, I guess, shell or body, and that's what led to him kind of becoming the villain of the film, which, by the way, I knew that, even before I got the spoiler, when they announced Godzilla vs. Kong, I knew it was okay, well, they're probably going to fight in the movie and then team up at the end. I just had a feeling they were going to do that, and that's exactly what they did. Now, when we actually see the fight, first of all, the nighttime fight in Hong Kong between Godzilla and Kong was crazy. The explosions, the destruction, I actually was damn, people were evacuating, but it wasn't enough. There were people dying in that shit. It was just crazy. I compare it to Man of Steel because in Man of Steel, when you have the fight with Zod and Superman at Metropolis, the buildings were getting all tore up. And here was the same thing, except here was even more so because they're sitting there doing suplexes and slamming each other and choke slams. And the thing I liked about the fight was that it was very savage. The way they choreographed this, it felt like these two monsters, three if you count mechagodzilla, were legit how they would behave. But at the same time, Kong had a strategy, with using the axe to deflect Godzilla's mouth blast, and that was cool stuff. It was very creative. And I liked how, Godzilla pretty much beat Kong. I mean, he pretty much won that fight. And then when they resurrected Kong, Kong came in and just started fighting Mechagodzilla, and they had that tag team, that 2-on-1, which was awesome because Mechagodzilla was out of control. Truly evil, just destroying everything for fun. And, when they teamed up against it, though, I had even though I knew what was going to happen based on the spoilers that I had gotten, I still have my heart pumping. because I did care about Godzilla and Kong. The human characters I didn't care about. They were there for comic relief. I did not care about any of the humans. I'm sorry. I almost never do in these films. Some of the Japanese movies I do care. Some of the Gamera films I care. Some of the Godzilla films I care. But in this one, like, it's not that I didn't like them. It's just they were just kind of, extra. They were just there to kind of explain things to us. We're here for the fight. And I did find it a bit, contrived that Kong's throne in the center of the earth happens to be right under Hong Kong, and that happens to be where they're making the mechagodzilla costume or the mechagodzilla mech. And also the scene where they're like, it's a Robo-Godzilla, and the fat kid's like, no, it's mechagodzilla. Come on, bro. Like, trying a bit too hard there, I think. And then he spills beer on the panel, and that somehow makes the short circuits mechagodzilla. That was weird, But at the end, when Kong got the axe that was powered up by Godzilla's breath, which I did not know, that was not in the spoiler, and starts chopping that motherfucker, that was fucking awesome, bro. Like, the way they were throwing each other into, like, the buildings and just, Godzilla, they were fighting their asses off, yo. Dude, Godzilla got tore up in this movie, bro. He was getting wrecked. Same thing with Kong. These two guys left this film with, like, injuries, dog. Like, Kong had, like, a separated shoulder. Godzilla was, like, getting pounded on by Mechagodzilla and by Kong. Like, and he was tired from that fight. And Mechagodzilla was just an animal. I remember, he never gets tired. He's a robot. He never gets tired. So, you had Godzilla and Kong, who had just had their fight, tired against a fresh and infinite energy wielding Mechagodzilla. They had to team up against them, bro. You couldn't do it any other way. You could not do it any other way, at all. Now, in my non-spoiler, I said that it was disappointing. And when I say disappointing, I don't mean it was a bad movie. Understand that. What I mean is that I wanted to enjoy this more than King of the Monsters or more than Skull Island, and I just didn't. Like, this is ranking number 3 right now on my list of legendary pictures Godzilla films, like the ones that are American made. Like, for me, it goes Skull Island number 1 because I enjoyed that movie the most. Godzilla King of the Monsters was number 2, and this one's number 3. Not to say it's a bad movie. It's just one thing I will say is that King of the Monsters does drag a bit at times, and this doesn't. This one was probably the best paced one out of all of them because it went by really fast. And there's a little bit of slowness in, like, maybe the first few minutes are fine. Then, like, maybe around the 25-minute mark to, like, the 45-minute mark, it does kind of, like, drag a bit. They're trying to introduce the characters to us, and I'm just like, okay, interesting idea. Also, Kong speaking sign language was weird. Like, is that girl the only one that can speak to him, or can anybody with sign language do it? It was implied that it was only her, but if Kong understands sign language, then other deaf people could probably do it too. And I think they also kind of hamstrung the connections between the other characters a little bit too much in this movie. It's nitpicking in a way because, like I said in my non-spoiler, this is supposed to be Godzilla versus Kong, and we're here for the spectacle of it all. And the spectacle of it all did deliver. It was just a big chaotic mess, but the movie does make you think. Like, it makes you wonder, like, what would happen if this actually happened? Like, you realize that if this happened to, like, a city like Hong Kong, like, it would take, I said in my Man of Steel review it would take 30 years to repair. This movie would take 50 years, maybe more than that. They wrecked that damn town, bro. They wrecked it. I really liked the close-ups of Godzilla and Kong. They were a little weird at times, but I liked sort of like how they sort of kind of try to show us their eyes and their emotion in their eyes. That was interesting. The fight itself was totally worth it, though. I think at some point what I'll do when I see this movie again is I'll probably just skip to the fights. Like, I'll just fast forward to the fights, because, and I know it sounds like I'm brainless. I'm really not. I love thought-provoking films. I love good films. I love movies that make you think and movies that are character-driven. But that's not what this is, Although, surprisingly enough, Kong does have a character. Because at the end, when he was down and he was like about to die, his heart was slowing down. I felt for him, you know. Didn't think I was going to feel for him, but I did feel for him. And Godzilla, man, I love Godzilla, bro. I love both these guys. You know, they had to hash it out, though. You know what I'm saying? Like men do. You know, you ever seen like two of your friends fight? Like, you don't want to see your friends fight, but once in a while, if there's like a real problem, they got to hash it out. You know, even if it means screaming at each other and then shaking hands afterwards, which is basically what they did here. They teamed up against Mechagodzilla. You know, it was also kind of dumb that the deaf girl had to like tell Kong that Godzilla's not the enemy, Mechagodzilla was. Like, duh. Also, the design of Mechagodzilla, I'm a little bit mixed on it because I love the weapons it comes with, like the missiles and things like that, the rockets. That was cool. That was cool. And it looked more like a realistic sort of lizard type of thing. I like that. But I still kind of, as weird as it may sound, I still kind of love the original Japanese Mechagodzilla design. And also the one from the 80s series, 80s and 90s series. That's my favorite Godzilla series. This one was kind of like more, this one came off like more like a modern Transformers Michael Bay style, which I guess that's how movies are nowadays. You know, it's going to be all sort of futuristic, which I'm not hating on it at all. Don't think that. I'm just saying that, like, you know, it looked almost too reptilian and not robotic enough, if that makes sense. Like, it looked more like the skeleton of a kaiju as opposed to it being a robot, which is probably why they had like the King Ghidorah brain inside of it, you know, to like make it be this savage monster. So it's kind of like a rematch between Godzilla and Kong. But, you know, I love when Godzilla shot his beam and lit up that axe and Kong just sliced that motherfucker. That shit was cool, bro. Like, it was cool. Like, it's a good, this is one of those movies that you could watch with kids, because there's not really, I mean, there's violence and blood, but it's all like reptilian blood, you know. And then seeing Kong fight that motherfucker in the Hollow Earth where he ripped off his skull and shit, that was cool. You know, it was just super over the top shit. And that's what we wanted, that's what we got. You know, you can't ask for like, you can't ask for this movie to be like, I don't know, a suspense thriller. You can't expect this to be like Tenet. You know what I mean? You can't expect it to be like that. It's not supposed to be that. It's supposed to be a big fight with two monsters. And it's a good fucking like movie to take kids to and then talk about afterward and get the toys and, you know, hail to the king, bro. Both of them. Hail to both the kings. And I love how at the end of the movie, like, they gave themselves that like nod. And then Godzilla went back to the water and Kong was like, all right, I'm not going to fight this guy. I'm going to go home. I'm going to go Hollow Earth. But it was that respect, you know, and that is a message. Sometimes you got to hash it out. But sometimes, you know, you live to fight another day. And there's always a greater threat. And in this case, it was something that was man-made. You know. Again, similar to the Japanese plot, but not identical to it. I wish they had stuck more to that, but it's fine. I still like the movie. I like this movie. I really did. I didn't love it. I wanted to love it. I didn't love it, but I did like it. You know, and that's how I feel about it. What do you think? Now that we talked about the spoilers, like, did you care about the humans? Did you care about, like, Hollow Earth? I love the idea of Hollow Earth. I loved that aspect of it. A little bit contrived in parts, but, you know, I enjoyed it. I had a fun time watching it. Will I see it again? Probably I'll see the fights again. Probably not the entire movie, though, because I'll skip to the middle of it. There were, like, the podcast dude, the conspiracy guy, he was funny. The girl was, like, generic, you know, exposition character, and then her friend, chubby kid, was like comic relief. It was pretty, you know, stereotypical or archetypal, you know, if that makes sense. Anyways, that's it for my review, spoiler wise. Will they make more of these? Will we get more monsters coming in? I wonder. Or is this the end? Is this the end of this franchise? I don't know. They could always make more. They could always reboot Destroyer or Biolante or something like that. You never know. Anyways, I'm out. What did you think? Let me know in the comments about Godzilla versus Kong. I'll talk to y'all soon.